friends, welcome back to my channel. I have recently made a few beauty slash like hoarding closet-esque purchases, and I thought I would go ahead and share them with you. I have sort of been on a little bit of another skincare kick. I have like a household item and then I have a beauty item that I've purchased. So let's go ahead and jump in. Like I mentioned a second ago, I've been back on a skincare kick. I don't exactly know what's going on, but I am dealing with a weird resurgence of like acne and texture on my skin that I am not accustomed to. I've always been very fortunate in my life that I wouldn't really consider myself someone who's been plagued by acne. I don't have teen horror stories where I had like really awful acneic skin, which again, I'm very fortunate for, but I like come and go with some waves where I get pop-ups of some pimples. And at first I thought it was what a lot of people have dubbed maskne, which is just like getting acne from wearing your mask and having an enclosed piece of your face that is really experiencing a lot of like wear and tear throughout the day. And the reason I thought at first it was just maskne is because I was getting like a little bit of texture and like some pimples here and like over up here, areas that I don't normally really get acne on, but it has since migrated to up along this area of my forehead. It's very strange. So my response to that is twofold. I think that it might be my skin is adjusted to the current skincare that I'm using, and so I may need to switch it up. The other thing is it may be that I am over moisturizing my face, which can cause my skin to respond to too rich of products or products that are too hydrating. It can cause my face to respond by simply overproducing, and then I suddenly start to have breakouts. And so like the perfect storm for my skin tends to be when it's really humid out. I don't necessarily get oily, but I'd say I get more like sweaty. And then if I put really like heavy moisturizing products on top of that, it tends to lead to my skin breaking out. So I've got that happening. And then I've been watching a lot of Hiram on YouTube, as I'm sure many of you are as well. And I just have been hooked into a few recommendations. So I picked those up to see if these would start to help clear up my skin. First thing I've got is a face wash. I'm nearly out of both of the face washes that I'm using, so I decided to pick up the CeraVe Renewing SA Cleanser for normal skin. I really steer clear of this line because I feel like a majority of their products that I'm familiar with are meant for people with drier skin, which is not how I would normally describe my skin. And what I've learned about this face wash is that it tends to be better for people who have more acne prone or oily leaning skin. So I figure with what I'm currently dealing with, this might be a good product to try as a cleanser. And it's relatively inexpensive at the $10 price point, which is kind of what I'd like a lot of my skincare to be at for price points, because skincare can get really pricey real fast and I'm just not about that life. The other two Hiram recommended products are from The Ordinary and the Inkey List, two brands that I desperately want to get more experience with and just don't really have much experience with at all. The first one from the Inkey List is their niacinamide. It's formulated for all, it's best for everyone, and it controls excess oil and redness. This is meant to be a serum. I've heard a lot of good things about this ingredient, and so I thought I would just go ahead and give it a try and see if it will help my skin. I do suffer, I would say, from like general redness overall. Like I think you guys can see it on my neck. My face and my neck tend to not match, not because they're not the same skin tone, but because I tend to just be red. Like I tend to get hot, and I show that I get hot by turning red. Like I just tend to have a more of a redder type of undertone to my skin. Super cool. And so I feel like this could be good for that. In the same vein, I also got from The Ordinary their niacinamide and zinc. This is a high strength vitamin and mineral blemish formula. I'm leaning more towards starting with this first because your girl is struggling with blemishes and it's just not normal, and I'm trying to figure out what recipe my skin needs to go back to its regularly scheduled programming because I'm just not a fan of this acne lifestyle. Final skincare item was actually a recommendation from you guys. In a recent trash talk, I talked about how I had used up the acne patches I had picked up at a local CVS. They were peach-based acne patches, and they were good, but I just had a qualm with the 3 different sizes not being a really good fit. And it was recommended that I pick up these from Amazon. They're the Rail, I think is how you say them, Beauty Miracle Patch Invisible Spot Dots. These are mad inexpensive. I think I paid like $11, and I am a Prime member, so I didn't pay for shipping, and you get 96 patches. There are 2 sizes, 12 millimeters and 10 millimeters. I actually already cracked into these again to help with the blemishes if I haven't talked about that enough. And I just want to tell you guys, these patches are pretty great. I can't remember, but I feel like aside from the Peace Out acne dots, all the other ones that I've purchased are basically just like one envelope and all the dots sit in there. With this, you have 96, so arguably it will take you a pretty long time to use them. And so they group them into these individual sleeves, so you're not necessarily opening and exposing all 96 at once. You're sort of just truncating it into these smaller groupings, which I appreciate. I've already used these a couple of times. I do like them, so I definitely recommend these. 96 is a ton. I've never seen a price point this low for how many patches you get. So thank you for the recommendation. Very happy to have picked these up. Next thing I picked up is more of just like a household product. I don't normally talk about these with the exception of Bath & Body Works, which is why I bring them up, but I purchased a hand soap. So right before hand soap sale happened at Bath & Body Works, I was facing a real crisis, a real first world crisis, in that I sincerely didn't have any more hand soaps in my hoarding closet, and I wasn't gonna spend the buku bucks that Bath & Body Works charges for their full price hand soap. So I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. And one of you suggested in the comments that I just save a Bath & Body Works bottle and put refillable soap in there, and that sent me down a rabbit hole. And truthfully, something that I've wanted to explore more of is using less single-use plastic in my kitchen. For example, I am trying to find alternatives to paper towels and alternatives to sandwich bags and stuff like that. And as I've gone down that rabbit hole, I haven't committed to buying anything just yet, but I'm still interested in it. And particularly something that I recently came across through this rabbit hole was hand soaps, refillable pod hand soaps. And perhaps this is not a new concept, but I've come across them I'd say the last 3 months during COVID times. I've come across them on Instagram, as I'm scrolling through, it pops up as an ad, and I've considered purchasing a couple of times, but I always get detracted by the price. I feel like it is more expensive than the $3 price I pay at Bath & Body Works. And I know part of what I'm paying for is saving the environment, and that is a noble feat. But I'm not gonna lie, I do like a good deal. And the reviews or the comments on a lot of those Instagram ads hasn't been great. So I've never pulled the trigger. But finally, I came across this brand called Jello. I think that's how you pronounce it, and it seems like a really good price point, and they had scents that I liked, or I thought I would like, so I thought I would go ahead and pick it up. So I got it in the mail, and initial thought is I'm not super thrilled with the bottle and pump because it's just plastic. I don't know, I'm sure it's probably plant-based or recycled plastic, but still I feel like I could have kept my Bath & Body Works and just bought the refills. I don't know, I'm talking out loud with you guys about this, but I did purchase the starter kit, which came with this little guy right here, and then it came with the cucumber, melon, jasmine flower pods. Essentially, it's supposed to create 40 ounces of hand soap, and they tell you that it refills this bottle 4 times. The way it works is you're gonna just add water to the bottle until it's full. I drop in 2 pods and I gently shake it to watch the pods dissolve, and then I've got myself my hand soap. While I was on the website, I wanted to maximize the price threshold for shipping because I hate paying for shipping. I would rather purchase a $5 product than pay $5 for shipping. I'm one of those people they make memes about. But the second one I bought was the Sea Mist Mineral Freesia. I don't know if I'm gonna like these scents. I hope I do. Regardless, I mean, I just have them temporarily, but this is something that I'm exploring. If you guys have any other brands like this that you know of that have a decent price point and have good scents, let me know down below in the comments, because this is something that I am willing to potentially migrate towards exclusively if I find a decent price point and I like the scents. I'm not gonna lie, I'm super into the sensory experience, so that's a big part of my decision making when purchasing things like cleaning products. The last thing that I have to talk to you guys about is an eyeshadow palette. Yes, you heard correctly. Maybe surprised, maybe you're not surprised, but I decided to pull the trigger on the Alter Ego Goddess palette. Literally ever since I talked about this palette, which is a dupe for Natasha Denona's gold palette, I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I just kept thinking like, you really want this palette, you've liked it for a while, you're certainly not getting the Natasha Denona one, like why don't you just try this Alter Ego Goddess palette? Like I kid you not, I went on a small YouTube bender where I just watched tons and tons of reviews on this palette. Like don't know why, but I finally got my hands on it. It is stunning. This is what she looks like. So pretty. I just love these tones. I haven't played with this palette a ton with the exception of Pandora. I use this as a lid topper over the gold eyeshadow from my Cargo Summer in the City palette. It was great. It was great. I am looking forward to playing more with this palette. It was also inexpensive, $16. Sign me up. I'm super on board. I'm really happy with this purchase. I haven't dipped into the palette a ton because I've been trying to stay pretty steadfast with my two palettes that I'm panning for this year, in the sense that like I'm trying to make up for lost time since I haven't been wearing makeup as regularly. I feel confident as I'm getting deeper into September that that time has passed and I am now on the 6-day-a-week makeup train. But I just want to basically get a really full month under my belt before I start to explore other palettes in my collection and do more playing on the weekends. Right now, I'm just totally married to my Lorac and Cargo palettes because I desperately want to see some kind of like really significant month-long progress on those palettes. So that's where I stand, but still pretty happy to have made this purchase. All right, guys, that is it for me and the products that I've recently purchased. I hope that you enjoyed seeing what I snagged, and if you have tried any of these, let me know how they worked for you in the comments below. I appreciate, as always, you spending some of your day with me, and I'll talk to you in my next video real soon.